A lot of people that are on food stamps and live in really poor areas also are Trump voters.
I voted for him for lower grocery prices. Not only has that not happened, I'm getting my food stamps taken. I did not ask for this.
Am I a bad person because I got a little smile on my face when I found out that 42% of the people that receive SNAP benefits are white people in red states?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video dives into the reality behind the headlines. The stories nobody wants to talk about, but everyone needs to hear. Every clip you'll see today shows just how fragile this system has become and how fast comfort can turn into crisis when the government hits pause. Before we start, think about it for a second. If your benefits stopped tomorrow, what would you do first?
This is for all the MAGA voters posting about not getting a shit about people not getting their SNAP benefits. Quick education, 55% of whites voted for Trump. Whites are the people who use SNAP benefits the most. They make up 37% of SNAP benefit recipients. And most of those people are in the Southeast and other rural areas. So you're talking about your own people. God, you stupid.
Too many privileged white people are coming here on this app and they're talking about people that benefit from food stamps, which most of them happen to be white. Most of them happen to live in Republican states, red state. Now, don't blame the Democrats because this is absolutely Trump's doing. He can fund it if he wanted to. He's funding ICE. He's sending $40 billion to Argentina. Why are you not mad with him? The only thing the Democrats want to do is make sure that you have affordable health care and people are getting their notice. So not only you're not going to have your food stamps until the government is back in order, but you're going to have a big freaking healthcare bill coming January. And before you start coming over here complaining about the Democrats, I need you to go to the videos in which people are crying, teachers, healthcare professionals, in which their insurance has doubled or even tripled. Good luck on trying to get food and trying to stay healthy. I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but this is the frustration that we have with you, a lot of MAGA people, because you guys still haven't done your due diligence in reading Project 2025, in which they are trying to destabilize the government and that they want to do away with all the safety net. Why? Because it caused chaos. But I'm going to tell you who's going to be just fine. It's going to be the black and brown people because we have always been resilient. How about you go to your legislator and tell them how much your insurance premium is going up? Or how about you tell your legislator you want me to have children, you want me to raise children, but you don't want to give me money to feed these children. Stop telling women what to do with their body if you're not going to help them in the end. Anyway, my recommendation for you is to download the app called 5. Call your legislators, call your senator. Just want you to know that the Republicans will not negotiate with the Democrats. And this is why they're doing this.
And there it is, the truth nobody wants to admit. Most of the people bashing food stamps are the same ones using them and living in red states that depend the most on federal aid. She's absolutely right. This isn't about laziness or race. It's about hypocrisy. You've got folks voting for politicians who promise to cut government programs, then crying when those same cuts hit their families. And now that food stamps and healthcare funding are on the chopping block, everyone suddenly wants to talk about fairness. Where was that energy when billions were being sent overseas or funneled into corporate bailouts? Do you think most people actually realize how dependent their own states are on federal programs? Or are they just ignoring it until it hits home?
Seeing white people in real time come on this platform with the realization that SNAP benefits is the same thing as food stamps and EBT, it's quite comedic. I can't lie, it's a little funny. And not funny, haha, funny, weird, because they did the same shit with Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. They didn't realize that they were one and the same. Just two different names. SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, EBT, food stamps, they're all the same, just different. You know, one is just like the government official name. I don't know. That's the thing about racism and being racist. It's a sickness. It's a disease that's generational, if we're being quite frank. And y'all don't want to heal from it. Y'all don't want to get better because you feel like you can stand on some imaginary pedestal instead of, I don't know, instead of allowing everyone to get benefits that make all of our lives better. You will cut off your nose to spite your face. You will shoot yourself in the foot in the name of making things difficult for a demographic that you just don't like, for something that they can't change, their skin. But then you don't realize you're hurting yourself too. And a lot of these politicians, the only color they care about is green. Money is their god. Money is who they serve. I don't know what more you need to understand. That it's not like a left and right thing. Yes, most of the time, unfortunately, because we do live in America, it is a black and white thing. But it's also like an up and down thing. A lot of y'all, especially white people, need to realize that you are the third estate. You are the proletariat. You're not the bourgeoisie. That's not how that works. But again, your racism that y'all don't want to get rid of, that y'all don't want to let go of because it makes you feel better about yourself, has now caused all of this to come full circle. I don't know, like, why are y'all mad? Y'all voted for this. And then saying y'all didn't vote for this is kind of crazy. Y'all gotta stop saying I didn't know. That's not a valid excuse. We have Google. There are so many different platforms for you to obtain information from. I don't know is not good enough. You voted for it. You wanted that man in there. And he don't care about y'all. He don't care about none of us. We're not in his circle. Why do y'all really, like, you see how much of a nasty sickness racism is? It's caused all of this BS. And y'all can't cure yourselves until y'all face reality and admit that you're sick. You have to, first part of recovery is admitting that you actually do have a problem, that you have a sickness. You know, so let's start from there. But y'all don't even want to admit that. So, I guess.
She's not lying. The same folks who laughed at food stamp people are now realizing SNAP and EBT are the exact same thing. This is the irony of American politics. People will literally vote against their own interests just to make sure someone they don't like doesn't get help. Racism blinds a lot of voters. Instead of fixing the system, they'll watch it collapse just to own the poor. But the truth is, most of the people getting SNAP are white, living in red states, working full-time, and still struggling. These cuts don't just hurt one race, they hurt the working class. Do you think this divide is still about policy? Or just politics keeping poor and working people too distracted to realize they're on the same side? But anyway, let's move on to the next video.
Baby, white TikTok is in a frenzy, and while I have my voice right now, I'm going to use that hoe. They don't understand how their SNAP benefits are being cut off in November. They literally thought when they heard SNAP benefits, it was only going to hit the black folks, okay? Now, I'm going to say this. When the government shuts down, it does not just shut down for one particular group of people. It shuts down for everybody and they fucking mama. So yes, white people in the Midwest, these Appalachian white folks, y'all ain't gonna have y'all shit either. Now I am gonna say this, when you decided to vote for that man, you put a wild card on the table during Uno. You don't know which way this man is gonna go. And no, I am not blaming Democrats once again. They are holding the fucking line for the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid. Something you white folks on SNAP need. So y'all better buckle up. Now, if there's an uptick in shoplifting in grocery stores, if y'all see that shit, be like Pam on Martin. I ain't seen jack. Because we ain't seen none of it. Now, food banks are going to have a hard time because you already got federal workers that don't have any benefits whatsoever right now, are not getting paid. You also have people in the armed services that are not getting paid, that are lined up at those damn food banks. Now you got over 40-something million people that will not be receiving their SNAP that's going to need food as well. So I do expect an uptick in shoplifting. Do what the fuck you got to do to survive.
In America, there is a misconception about who is on welfare. Now, let me just say this. There is no one program in the United States that constitutes welfare. There are many social programs in the United States that are part of what the United States calls the social safety net, which is really not much of a safety net at all when you consider the meager benefits that people receive. So, what I've decided to do is look quickly at the statistics from the last census. Now, this holds true going back, but actually in the last 20 years, it has increased. The number of people receiving public benefits of some sort or another has increased amongst one particular demographic, and that is amongst white people. 20 years ago, 61% of all the people receiving public benefits of some kind in the United States were white people. Today, or as of 2022, or as the last census, 76.2% of all the people receiving some form of public benefit were white people. And the rest were people of color, 13%, people of Asian extraction, 6%, give or take, and people of Hispanic, somewhere down in the middle there. So let's just talk about what constitutes public benefits. So I'm going to read this list here, and this is what makes up all of welfare, if you will, in the United States. Medicaid, SNAP, WIC, free or reduced price school meals, SSI, TAANF, energy aid, rental subsidies, unemployment compensation, and assorted other programs. So 40 million people in the United States live in poverty, and that number approximately is the number of people who receive public benefits of some kind. And of course that varies when you include Social Security recipients, Medicare, etc., which is not it's an earned benefit. So I'm going to eliminate that for the moment. So of those people, the number of people receiving public benefits, welfare, if you will, some form of social program, social safety net support, as I said, 76.2% are whites. So I think this is important to remember when people start talking out of their ass.
People love to talk about lazy welfare queens, but the reality looks a lot more like your average small-town family. White, working class, struggling to survive in a system that underpays everyone. Programs like Medicaid, SNAP, WIC, unemployment, they're not handouts, they're survival tools. And the irony? Most of the folks who benefit live in red states that keep voting against the same programs keeping them afloat. So when politicians say cut welfare, they're not talking about someone else. They're talking about their own voters. But people are too busy blaming each other to notice who's really cashing the checks at the top. Be honest. If your paycheck disappeared tomorrow, how long could you make it without help? Let's see how many people would still call it free money then.
If you are naive enough to think that the pause to SNAP benefits on November 1st isn't going to affect you because you don't receive food stamps, I want you to hear this. About 1 in 8 Americans receive SNAP benefits. In fact, in Oklahoma, where I live, that's 1 in 6 people. So about 600,000 people in my state alone, Oklahoma, receive SNAP benefits. About 1 in 4 children in the U.S. receive SNAP benefits. But you're not one of those people, so you don't care, but hang with me. When those benefits go away, just about $9 billion in grocery spending vanishes. So you've got to be thinking about not just the grocery stores being able to stay open and pay their employees, but you have to think about the entire supply chain, trucks on the road, people who provide food to these grocery stores. $9 billion. Every dollar spent in SNAP benefits adds about $1.50 to $1.80 to the economy. So cutting those benefits isn't saving that dollar, it's taking away that $1.50 to your local economy. But you don't receive SNAP benefits, you don't work for a grocery store, you don't drive a truck, you don't give a shit. But when all of those things happen, the only way to combat that is to drastically increase the price of groceries. Grocery prices are already up over 3% in 2025 alone, which is almost an entire percentage higher than the average increase in grocery prices over the last 20 years. I thought they were supposed to go down day one though. So even if SNAP benefits only pause for 1 month, which by the way would be detrimental to all the people I mentioned before that you don't give a shit about, it will cost the economy roughly $13 to $14 billion in profit. And you can expect your grocery prices in just that 1 month to go up at least 1%. And states will stand to lose about $300 to $500 million in sales tax revenue. So even if you do not receive SNAP benefits, you never have, you never will, you do not want these to be paused on November 1st.
People frequently claim that immigrants and poor black families are living off the system. They're on welfare, they're mooching. But here is the truth. The majority of people on public assistance in the United States of America are white, and most of them have jobs. They just don't make enough money to survive without a little bit more because wages are low, rent is high, a lot of jobs don't come with benefits anymore. You can't have a job without a cell phone. You can't even find a job without the internet. But it's not poor people who are eating up the most dollars in public assistance. Nope, it's the middle class. It's people who can take mortgage deductions, and of course, corporations cashing in on subsidies. But nobody calls that a handout. SNAP, Medicaid, housing assistance, those aren't loopholes to help billionaires save some more money and line their pockets so that they can get more yachts or whatever they do with it. They're lifelines for millions of people. And here's the kicker. Those programs keep all of us safer and more stable. If you're mad that someone's getting help, maybe just look at why they need it, not just who they are. Think about this. A friend of mine said he grew up in a third world country, and he said that in those countries, petty theft and, pickpocketing and crimes like that are common because people have to do that to get enough money to buy food and to pay for a place to stay. That's going to happen in our country if we don't get curious about where the waste in our government really exists.
Wages haven't kept up with rent, food, or health care. A lot of folks have jobs, sometimes two, and still can't afford to live without help. And while politicians point fingers at the poor, the real handouts go to corporations getting tax breaks, bailouts, and subsidies. That's welfare too. It just wears a suit. Food stamps, Medicaid, and housing aid aren't luxuries. They keep families off the streets and communities stable. Take those away, and you don't get personal responsibility. You get desperation, and desperate people do desperate things. If you had to choose, would you cut corporate subsidies or social aid first? Drop your honest take below. But anyway, I saved the craziest video for last, so let's get to the video.
I voted for him for lower grocery prices. He promised me cheaper prices on groceries. And that has not happened. Not only has that not happened, I am getting my food stamps taken. I am getting my cash assistance taken. I am getting my Section 8 taken. I am getting all my welfare governments taken. I did not ask for this. I would not have voted for him if I knew this was going to happen. So what do I do now? What do the people do now? The ones that regret their vote. What do we do? I can't go out and get a regular job. And it's not even about these families being separated from their loved ones. It's not about these 5 and 6 year olds getting their families taken away from them in the middle of a school day. It's not about any of that. It's about me and my food stamps and my cash assistance. Me. That I'm the only one that matters in this country. I am taking my life back.
A lot of people that are on food stamps and live in really poor areas also are Trump voters. I'm seeing a lot of videos right now where a lot of people are really pissed at Trump. They weren't mad at him when they got to see other people lose stuff, but now that it affects them. See, we're dealing with the kind of person here that takes joy in watching people lose stuff. They were indoctrinated from middle school. When they watch their middle school team lose or win, they get to go, ha 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 ha, I love watching you lose. That's what America does. It's called indoctrination. We now have a president who is like a toddler. He made an AI video where he dropped excrement from a F-whatever fighter jet and he's wearing a crown. This is like a toddler in the White House. And he's punishing his own people who voted for him if they're poor. He is sending a signal to America that he's taking from you to give to his buddies. And this is what you voted for.
For years, folks cheered when government programs were gutted, so long as it didn't touch their benefits. It was all fun and games when they thought only lazy people or liberals were losing support. But this is what happens when politics turns into a team sport. You cheer for your side like it's a football game, without realizing you're rooting against yourself. The truth is, most of the people on food stamps are working Americans, many living in red states, and when leaders start cutting safety nets, they don't stop to check your voting record. Everyone bleeds the same when the system collapses. That's all for today's video. Thanks for sticking with me until the end. Whether you agree or not, these conversations matter because they decide what kind of country we become. One that punishes the poor, or one that fixes a broken system so everyone plays fair. If you took something away from today's discussion, drop your thoughts below. I always read through the comments. And as always, take care of yourselves.